And
Alex, I can't see your picture, just a heads up.
Michial,
Yes, I'm here.
how are you?
Good. How's it going?
Let me see. Why can I see you? 1 second. I think you're there.
I'm here. Can you see me? There you are. Hi, Alex.
How are you?
Good. How's it going?
Good, good.
Awesome.
So,
I
well,
heard you,
thank you for
heard you had
being
a question
here
for me.
with us. Huh?
I heard you had a question for me.
Of course I do. The basic the basic ones. Just to told us what is the down payment assistance programs, how it works. I mean, what is?
Got it. Okay. What is it? That's a very popular question for sure. So what is down payment assistance? Down payment assistance at the end of the day is an opportunity to bridge the gap for non-homeowners to become homeowners whenever they're a little bit short on savings. So when you're trying to buy a house, there are basically four things that you want to focus on, and savings is one of them. The other three are credit, debts, and income. But savings plays an important part. And you would be surprised, there are still so many potential home buyers out there in the world that still think you need 20% down in order to become a homeowner. And that's the farthest thing from the truth. As a matter of fact, as a first time home buyer, you can often purchase a house with as little as 3% down or 3.5% down. As a repeat home buyer, meaning you're buying a new primary within the last 3 years of owning a previous property, can put as little as 5% down. So down payment assistance helps to cover, just like it sounds like, down payment and closing costs, or a combination of the two. So down payment assistance, it comes in a lot of different forms. There are different types of programs, different types of qualifications required. The source of the down payment assistance comes from a lot of different entities, organizations. Some of them are government organizations. Some of them are local charitable organizations. So there's really a whole gauntlet of opportunity to find down payment assistance. So the trick with down payment assistance really is just to make sure that you qualify. Some of the most common requirements to be able to qualify for different types of down payment assistance is number one, you have to be a first-time home buyer. The definition of a first-time home buyer is someone who has not owned real estate or had vested interest in real estate in the last 3 years. So if you haven't had that, then you're a first-time home buyer. There are some different types of backgrounds that buyers can come from, which might exempt them from first-time home buyer requirement. Most common would be, for example, a veteran. Often veterans are exempted from having to be first-time home buyers in order to do down payment assistance. There are some, go ahead. Do you have a question?
No, like you mentioned something, because we heard a couple things about the DPAs, but you mentioned it's only for first-time buyers.
So typically, not always, but usually down payment assistance programs are going to be just for first-time home buyers. But again, there are some different types of programs that have exceptions to that rule. And the most common exception is being a veteran. There's another program that's very popular right now called Hometown Heroes that has an exception for police officers who meet a certain qualification. They can be exempt from the first-time home buyer requirement as well. But the down payment assistance is, again, a great way to bridge the gap. I would say probably the most popular two programs right now in the state of Florida in particular for down payment assistance would be Hometown Heroes and then local SHIP programs. So we actually just closed two of those loans. What's that?
What was that?
SHIP, yeah. So SHIP programs are like sustainability programs that you usually will find either on a county level or city or town level. And these programs are funded oftentimes by the state, but then the funds are allocated via the more local municipalities, and they're very generous. A lot of times, the SHIP programs will offer very large levels of assistance. Up to the one we just did was $90,000 in assistance, and it was a great scenario. We did it for a police officer, only about 2 or 3 years in the force, and up and coming, met all the requirements for credit, for income, etc. And she was able to get 90,000 in assistance at the end of the day. One thing about down payment assistance programs that is really important is understand that typically the old rule is true, which is nobody's giving away anything for free. A lot of times
Yeah.
people think that down payment assistance is like a grant or something that they won't have to pay back. While that is true in some instances, for example, the SHIP program that we just did for that police officer, it has a forgiveness mechanism built in. So after having the program or having the loan for X amount of years, it does get forgiven. But most down payment assistance programs aren't designed like that. Most of them take the assistance that you receive and they add it on as a second lien against the property. Usually, the second lien can sit there for a long period of time, sometimes up to 30 years with no interest, no payments. Other times, you have to pay it back on a shorter scale. Some programs will charge you an interest rate. Sometimes the interest rate is 2 points higher than whatever your fixed rate is on your first mortgage, and you have to pay it back in 10 years. So there's a lot of different shapes and sizes when it comes to down payment assistance, some of them better than others. Most of them don't give the money for free. You have to pay it back eventually when you refinance or sell in the future. But there are still a few out there in the marketplace that are forgivable, which is nice.
And if how they can apply and where.
Yeah. So anytime you're thinking about becoming a homeowner, usually the first thing you think of is to reach out to an amazing realtor like you, Alex. And normally the realtor, like you do, immediately tells you to talk to somebody like me. Because getting your financing in order first is critical. Anytime you want to become a homeowner, if you go look at homes before you get your financing in order, it can be a very stressful experience. A lot of times people do that and unknowingly they look at homes that maybe they can't qualify for. And there is nothing worse than falling in love with a house only to find out later you can't qualify for it. It's a horrible experience. So to avoid that, follow your realtor's advice and talk to their recommended lender, mortgage company, loan officer, and let that person, someone like me, walk you through. We call it our initial Q&A, but walk you through a conversation about your unique scenario so that we can identify exactly how you qualify and then what programs your unique scenario matches up to the best. A lot of times with down payment assistance, we find after we go through your scenario that maybe it's not really what you want. Keep in mind, if somebody does Hometown Heroes, for example, which is another popular program, that one doesn't give anything for free. You do have to pay it back after a certain amount of time.
Certainly.
So at the end of the day, what you're really doing is 100% financing or beyond. And we all know just intuitively, you don't have to be a mortgage loan officer or a realtor to know that anytime you have zero equity in your home, you're financially at risk. If the market shifts, if home values go down, there's a lot of things that could go wrong. The equity that you have in your home, it creates kind of like a safety net. It allows you to better weather any storms that may come on the horizon. So anytime you're thinking about doing 100% financing, if you have your own savings already, and like I said, sometimes you only need 3%, sometimes 5%. But if you have your own savings already, often it's a smarter financial decision not to do down payment assistance and instead just pursue a traditional mortgage in the conventional FHA or VA space. So not always, but sometimes, but that's part of what we help talk you through in our conversation.
Yeah, actually, that's another good point that you mentioned. That is a lot of myths out there that people think that you only have to put 20% down to purchase a home. And that's why they're looking for this type of programs to get some assistance to purchase a home.
Very true. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of times people already have 5%, 10% already saved. And like you just said, they think they need to bridge the gap to 20%, but the reality is they don't. And oftentimes, if they did a down payment assistance program in order to get to a 20% down payment, it's not actually as financially sound a decision as you might think. So, talking to while mortgage loan professionals are not licensed financial planners, a lot of the information and the path that we set you on, your financial planner is going to be very glad we do what we do, because we are trying to make sure that we look out for your best interests. At the end of the day, we want you in the best loan possible for not just your immediate, situation, but for your future reality as well.
Is anything that home buyers should know or be aware before applying to these programs?
Yeah. So yes, again, as you work through a pre-approval process with a loan officer from our company, Ready Rate, we're going to take our time and have a real conversation about your unique scenario. And a lot of the answers to the question you just asked, what should I know, will come up during that conversation. You do need to know about minimum credit requirements. You need to know about maximum debt to income ratios allowed. That's the relationship between your income and your debts, including the new mortgage payment that you're trying to acquire. So sometimes there's first-time home buyer requirements. Sometimes there's home ownership counseling requirements where you have to take like a home ownership course. So there's a lot of different things. What I would always recommend is to make sure that you are prepared and you have answers to all those unknown questions. Start with financing first. Talk to your realtor, get connected to your lender, and then go through that pre-approval process so that you are prepared. I will mention too, a lot of times on the SHIP programs, these programs are a little bit different in the way that they process things. So typically you'll get pre-approved, you'll go under contract, and then the down payment assistance program will be underwritten and acquired during the same mortgage process that you do for the first mortgage. So it's all coincides. But with SHIP programs, it's a little different. Typically with SHIP programs, you have to go under contract, get conditionally approved by your lender, and then submit the whole application package to the SHIP program. And oftentimes they'll take weeks, if not months, to review and to process on their end the down payment assistance. So if you are going to pursue a SHIP program, working with a lender who will take their time with you and actually go through that process with the local or county municipality side by side with you is critical to your success at getting that money, being awarded that money.
That's definitely a great advice. So Leslie, do you have any tips for home buyers that they pursuing or they consider DPA as a program as to purchase their home?
Yeah. So my biggest tip is only do down payment assistance if you have to. At the end of the day, as I mentioned earlier, being a homeowner with equity in their property from day one is a very good financial decision. That equity serves as a safety net for you as a homeowner. God forbid something comes up in the future that you didn't expect. Life happens, as I like to say. So my biggest advice is don't look at down payment assistance as the best option to becoming a homeowner. Look at it as an alternative option. And if you have done a great job of saving your own money, and you talk to someone like myself and you understand down payment requirements, and maybe you've already saved that money, don't discount traditional financing and think that down payment is always a better option, because it's not in a lot of instances. And other than that, I would just say, have a conversation. I always say these are important decisions that you're trying to make when it comes to home ownership, and you should never make important decisions based on assumptions. You should always make these decisions based on facts. And the way to get to the facts is to talk to a mortgage professional like myself, and make sure you have an amazing realtor like Alex at your side to ensure that you are protected and well guided every step of the way.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much for your expertise and for your time today. And well, and I appreciate all your insights about DPA programs. If you have any more questions, you can text, text, call, or send a text message in either way, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, anything. So, and we have another good topic next week, right,
We
Mikhail?
do.
Oh, I love that one. So it's about the buy down.
Mhm.
So,
So
so
buy
we
downs
have,
is a very hot topic right now in the mortgage industry. So I'm going to give you a little insider information
yep,
about buy downs and kind of peel back the layers so that you know exactly what a buy down is all about. So if you're interested, join us.
yeah, stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Bye. Thank
Bye,
you,
Alex.
Mikhail. See you
My
next week.
pleasure. See you
Bye.
later.